Beasts of the Southern Wild is a 4-time Academy Awarded film created by a, quote, community of filmmakers, artists, and artisans as chivalrous and resilient as the bathtub residents themselves, end quote. The film follows the life of 6-year-old Hush Puppy as her entire world is flipped upside down. Her father is ill and her home is to be washed away. She has to learn resilience and fight for her future in the bathtub. This film drags the viewer through miles and miles of beautiful landscape lovingly called the bathtub by the residents. Filmed in Louisiana, USA, the rolling shots of the bathtub are seemingly endless. It sets the viewer in the place of the residents. They are defiantly cut off from the rest of the world via the levee. As this film progresses, we see the hard differences between life in the bathtub and the industrialized life beyond the levee. Under the threat of flood, the community begins to pack their bags and get out of Dodge, although some of the members of the bathtub choose to stay and drown with their home if it comes to that, including Hush Puppy and her father. This act solidifies the theme of resilience that follows Hush Puppy and her father Wink through the film. They are shown as two of the strongest characters because they are able to face adversity and overcome it as best as they can. After the bathtub is flooded, the remaining residents gather for a hearty meal to celebrate life and their survival. Hush Puppy is being taught by another member of the community how to de-shell a crab so that she can eat the meat. Wink, however, sees this and disapproves. He yells and then rips the crab apart to eat it. He prompts Hush Puppy to do the same by simply yelling for her to beast it, to grab the crab and rip it apart and eat it. As she rips the legs off the crab, the shot is aligned with Hush Puppy. Even when the shot cuts from her to the adults in the room, they seem to tower because the angle is centered at Hush Puppy's height. This is to make her seem the most important person in the room. It shows the viewer that what she sees, making the rest of the people in the room look wrong from the low-angle shot. Even as Hush Puppy rises on the top of the table and yells in victory, the camera stays at eye level with her, but it returns to the low angle when looking at the others in the room. This scene shows Hush Puppy becoming what Wink hopes. Wink does this to make Hush Puppy stronger in a way. He seems to believe that the harsher the act and the more brute that is put into it, the more hard and resilient the person who does it becomes. Regardless of whether or not this theory works, Hush Puppy shows her strength and the people of the bathtub yell and growl and chant, encouraging her to be a beast. Apart from human beasts, this film introduces a whole new type of beast, aurochs. Footage of them is laced throughout the film. They become a symbol, one that is guided by Hush Puppy and the world that surrounds her. According to Frances Marion Platt, a film critic for the Hudson Valley One, the aurochs become her personal symbol of disaster that looms over her and her family and community. End quote. The aurochs are a dark beast. They are huge, hog-looking creatures with slick fur, tusks, and horns. They're a scary creature because of what they represent. They're seen throughout the film stampeding in a cluster. Their destination is unclear until the end of the film, when they rear their heads to Hush Puppy in a standoff. This scene is formatted like the rest of the film, with Rashomon structure. However, it's much more noticeable because of the difference of the 3 scenes that are being depicted. The first scene trails Hush Puppy leading a group of children through the Louisiana brush. The aurochs are then depicted slowly and menacingly making their way through the bog. And the final scene is Wink in his bed, surrounded by the people of the bathtub. The structure condenses when the girls' army and the aurochs meet. Of course, because they are children, the girls run from the aurochs, but Hush Puppy herself continues her unbothered march back to the bathtub. The Rashomon structure ends as Hush Puppy makes eye contact with her father in his bed from across the destroyed bathtub. Finding courage in the eyes of her father, Hush Puppy turns back and faces the aurochs in challenge. This is the climax of realization. Hush Puppy knows in this moment, facing down the aurochs, that her entire life is about to change. She's going to lose her father, and she's going to have to face the rest of her life alone, and make her own path without the brute that her father had been bearing down on her. This is a scary moment because no matter how harshly her father had treated her, he prepared her for life. He guided her through it, and as she looks in the eyes of the aurochs, she knows that she is left to make the rest of her life whatever she wants. She stares into the eyes of the beast and accepts her life not only for what her father taught her, but for what she had learned since the bathtub had flooded, and what she will continue to learn as she goes through her life.